Well, happy whatever day this is that you're watching us. This is Richard Rosen, Winnipeg's friendliest undertaker, with another educational time together in regards to digital assets. So I'm sure that you can probably appreciate that as a funeral director, it can be pretty uncomfortable for me to talk to folks about pre-planning, end-of-life care, and all of that sort of stuff. And even though that's a really important topic, an area of discussion for people to consider early and getting as much information as possible, what I find is that to try to find common ground. And the most common ground that I find to talk about is technology. And all of us are involved with having some sort of technology. We've got phones and we've got doorbells, and we've got all of these interconnections on our digital lives. And it's important that we try to share as much information as we possibly can. Our goal with these information sessions is really to raise your level of awareness, the importance of considering your digital lives in your estate planning. Estate planning is no longer just about dishes and golf clubs. It also includes your life that is online. Because we're delving in the world of technology, we mentioned vendors and service providers to illustrate various points. And this certainly isn't an endorsement of any particular product or service. My co-host today, as always, is Sharon Hartung, the author of Your Digital Undertaker. Sharon and I have been collaborating on this digital topic for several years. And this is one of a series of interviews that we've been doing with people in an emerging tech sector that's focusing on gathering, maintaining, and protecting digital assets. Today with us, we're pleased to have Jesse Vade and Sachin Bala of ReadyWhen. ReadyWhen provides a secure digital storage solution to help you identify and store your assets and information in one digital location. Jesse and Sachin, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And Sharon, I will turn the microphones and video over to you.
Great. Thanks so much, Richard. Jesse, Sachin, wonderful to see you guys again. We have been talking as you are one of the new entrants in the emerging estate tech space. So excited to talk to you today and learn all about what you're doing. So why don't we kick off and tell us a little bit about how you came to launch your company? Jesse,
Perfect.
Sachin?
Thanks. First of all, thanks, Richard and Sharon, for allowing us to do this interview and give you a little bit of background on ReadyWhen and what we've been working on for, I'd say, almost about 18 months now on our product, ReadyWhen. So my background, I'll start with, and I think that kind of brings into where we're at today. So I'm a notary public in British Columbia. So for those that don't know what notaries do in British Columbia, we basically practice in solicitor work. So we prepare real estate documents for transfers, so purchase, sale, refinances, and then also we do estate planning, not trust, but more in the simple wills where your reciprocal wills to your spouse, to your kids, and also preparing power of attorneys and healthcare directives. So notaries in British Columbia are very focused in the areas of law that they practice. And so I've been a notary since 2004. And what I've seen over the years is just clients, various estate planning questions or estate management, what is a will? Why do I need a will? What is a power of attorney? Why do I need a power of attorney? And so forth. And so late 2019, I just had so many clients coming to me and asking those exact questions, and then unfortunately losing a loved one, and then coming to me and saying, what do I do next? Where do I go? Where do I start? And unfortunately, you have these people going through the stresses of losing somebody, but now they're having to deal with the stresses of what do I do next? Where's the information? I don't know where to start, and I don't know how things are paid, and so forth. And people unfortunately just stumble through it, and that kind of was the origination of the idea of there's got to be a better way of storing this information and disseminating that information. So late in 2019, I started thinking about it, doing some research, doing some due diligence, and the tools out there that I found really didn't solve the problem that I thought individuals are going through the lens of my experiences over the years. And that's when I started talking to Sachin about what is ReadyWhen today, about keeping everything, like Richard said, in one location and then disseminating that information. So I'll leave it over to Sachin to kind of, I came to him with the idea, and then Sachin can take it from there.
Thanks, Jess. So my background, I started in advertising. I was in advertising for over 15 years. I worked on brands such as Apple, Rogers, Coors Light, Campbell Soups, and Visa. And as technology started to really emerge, starting with social media back in 2000 and 2009-ish, I really started to get engaged on the digital front. And then eventually, as I started to learn more about product, and being from Toronto, where the tech scene was really starting to grow, I really just got into technology and learning more about the product development. And it really excited me because it was truly solving problems. So I joined a tech company by the name of TradeRev in 2016. We were at that point less than 70 people. And by the time of 2018, we were over 800 people plus. We were across North America. We had been acquired by a Fortune 1000 company, and we were over 800 people. So really got to see rapid growth, that hockey stick growth they always talk about. We had it, we saw it, and the company grew, and it was a really exciting time. But then as you get into those, corporate settings, it kind of dawned on me, like, I really enjoyed the startup world, and I was looking for something to do. Also, what happened in parallel is both my parents passed away, unfortunately. And it was a really rough time. My mom sadly went first, and then shortly after my father passed. And that's when me and my brother, we had to take care of the estate. And I went through that process, and it was very confusing. Firstly, you're dealing with a lot of grief. You're dealing with a lot of just emotional baggage. But then on top of that, you're thrown into this world where you know nothing about. And you have to figure it out. It's sort of a distraction in a good way, but like it was complicated. And one thing I'll say about my father, he was very organized in a morbid way. Like when we talk about, keep it in the box, he had that box, and it made life easy. But still, it took us over a year to sort out that estate. And during that time, we found out there was a house in India. We had no idea about. We found it. We were literally emptying the house, and out dropped the key for TD Bank, and there was a large amount of jewelry there that we had no idea about either.
Wow.
So we went through it. And so when Jesse came to me in 2019, I was looking for something to do on the startup side. But when he came to me with this idea, I thought, with his subject matter expertise and the amount of estates he's planned and his knowledge base, I thought we had something there. And then on my side, with the branding and the UX and just this idea of normalizing guidance, because he's looking at it from his legal professional point of view. How can we take that and make it just kind of normalize it just for anyone to go in, and it's just easy. And so I thought we could really do something there. And that's when I looked into it. There was really, the competitive space wasn't there wasn't a lot there. And I thought we could do something really unique. And we went off and started building ReadyWhen.
That's fantastic. And you guys, I talk a lot about the alignment between the estate industry and the tech industry. It sounds like in your partnership, you've got that pretty solid. Jesse really entrenched in the estate industry, being there, roll up your sleeves, dealing with clients. And then Sachin, you've gone through the startups and being in the tech side, and you know what that takes to make something work. So with that, let's jump right into ReadyWhen as your solution. So tell us a little bit about the user perspective, like how does it work? What need is it fulfilling? And just get us going in terms of understanding what the solution is.
Perfect, thanks, Sharon. So again, I think Sachin touched on that too, is that, people, as they're an executive, they're just thrown into this, you've seen it, they're just thrown into this role, and they have really no guidance and direction, right? And so unfortunately, like my clients, we prepare these estate plan documents, we just give them and say, okay, go keep these in a safe place, and then make sure you have all that other information in a safe location. And we've never been able to provide a solution of keeping that, except for the binder, right? The old binder, the folders, and we've never been able to give a digital solution. And that's what ReadyWhen is all about, is keeping all that information in a secure digital manner so that you can disseminate that information. And, if there was a tool like this already, we would be already using it, we would be advocating, we would be telling our clients about it. And that's where kind of, ReadyWhen came about. And so, with our product, the executor typically is going, playing document detective, right? They're literally going out there searching, it's like a scavenger hunt, right? That the executor plays like a scavenger hunt. They go and try to find where all the bank accounts are and so forth. And back in the day, you could kind of get through a little bit easier because you would just wait for the mail, right? You would wait for, 2 months of the mail, sooner or later, you're going to get a bank statement, a Visa statement, and so forth. But now, I mean, how many pieces of mail do we get? Barely anything. Everything is digitalized, right? So, and that is really about what ReadyWhen is all about. And then, we're really focusing in on getting the word out about ReadyWhen and the product through the professionals, right? Through the legal channels, through the financial planners, because they really know the value of this tool, right? Like when people come to us, they're looking for advice on, the estate planning, what to do next, and so forth. And that's where we kind of educate them on what's out there and what tools are out there. And then with emerging and changing laws, like, with COVID now, there's right now, we've got executive orders to allow for remote signing of estate planning documents, and a lot of laws that are changing now probably will stick around, post COVID as well. So, those laws will allow us to do, things more, digitalizing more of that process. So, really that's where I see, what our tools, what problem we're kind of solving. Over to Sachin a little bit about that.
Product aspect that I want to highlight is innovation, right? So when we were working with Jesse early on, we were kind of going through the products he uses as a notary, and it wasn't where the UX should be, user experience should be. And and I know that's professional based, but as we started to look inward into ReadyWhen, we started to talk about, how can we make this a guided journey? How can we innovate to make this easy? And then more importantly, what we've seen over the past year, because also just to add to ReadyWhen and how we're born, we were born in COVID. Right. If you actually go to look at our headshots on our website, we're all wearing masks because we built this during this time. So human behavior has changed dramatically over the past year. It is a digital world now, whether we like it or not. And what we started to see is this shift. And we knew that the ReadyWhen has to be there and it has to be easy. So we've really started to talk about this internally between the team, is like, how can we make this as quick, we use the term, it's as simple and fast, and how can we make that really true? And that's what we've really started to focus on from a product innovation perspective to address that. And then that goes to making sure it's complete, but then also giving access. And I think that's where ReadyWhen really wins, is with our accessibility, with our team's functionality, where you can add, family, friend, executor, and then professionals as well. And then on top of that, we've added marketing automation to this to make it really quick and painless, but also to remind people, because it's a marathon, not a sprint. So we know that we need to remind people, you got to do your will, you got to do this. And we want to encourage people. It's not like a slap on the wrist. It's actually something you should look forward to doing, which is something we're going to try to reward and delight in the product.
Okay, so let's pack underneath the covers just a bit. And we know that the traditional estate industry world is estate planning and estate administration. So let's go into the estate planning world, and let's take a use case of a client. So either a client's coming through an institution that may sign up for ReadyWhen, or they may sign up directly. What is a client doing on your platform and making available on your platform?
Sure. So, regardless of where you are geographically or jurisdictionally, right? The information, like I've been an executor before. So the information that an executor would need is legal documents, asset information, if end of life and they're in a state where they're incapacitated, and you would need to have health information, and then most importantly, disseminating that information amongst professionals, working with accountants, working with the financial planners. So, with ReadyWhen, those are the areas that we've, those are the sections we have. So we have an asset section that pertains to properties, life insurance, pensions, vehicles, your financial accounts, all that information that, encompasses your asset base. And then your health information, which would be doctors, which would be who your health insurance provider is, prescriptions, allergies, and then your digital footprint, right? Like what we said, your social media accounts, which, I would almost refer to you for that digital expertise of what information that people would need to have and be able to disseminate, your social media, your digital accounts, subscriptions, your reward points cards, and so forth. And so all that information is a part of your estate, right? That makes up your estate management. And you need to be able to provide that information so that your executor is able to settle your estate. And so with ReadyWhen, it's really a guided journey. And most importantly, it's frictionless, right? Where we're really trying to build tools that gets the individual into ReadyWhen as easy as possible, using the professional and accessibility. And the way we're using right now is we're using the professional to actually create the ReadyWhen account for the individual. So through legal professionals or financial planners, where they're actually creating the account and allowing the professional to upload 1 or 2 documents right into your ReadyWhen account. So now if I'm a client, I come into ReadyWhen and some of my fields are already populated through the professional. And then, we're creating that. We have a one-on-one concierge service where they can contact us and assist them with onboarding. But when you actually see the product, if you have any ability to work a computer, it's very easy to actually upload the information into your ReadyWhen account. So I think that hopefully is that's how we're assisting individuals to get into the product, either through the professional or themselves. Sachin?
Okay, and you both described the world of the executor, which happens while you're grieving. The first thing you do, and you look for, today we look for a paper will. And then we try to find information about what the person has so that you can close down their accounts or collect their insurance policies or address their banking institutions. So would it be fair to say that from a user experience, your client is either an institution or someone who's provided access to a client? The client is a user, logs in, provides information, like if they have an insurance policy, if they have a will done, potentially a list of usernames or assets that they have. And what else do they do so that that information is available to the executor? Do they have to upload professional names in there, or how does that work?
So there's actually kind of 2 ways. I mean, what we have is we have a Teams functionality, Sharon, within ReadyWhen, and that allows users to create their team. And if you haven't actually had somebody create or added somebody, we have a product through Salesforce called Marketing Cloud, and that will nudge individuals to actually add team members. And then as the owner of the account, you get to set the permissions. So you have individuals that are very private and they say, we don't really want anyone to access any of our information until after I've passed away. And so you would actually set that permission. You would say, so basically the major sections that we have would be assets, digital, and health. And they would say, okay, I don't want anyone to access information until after I passed away. Then you can give permissions to them while you're alive. So they could be, view only, it could be view and edit. And if it says, well, only after I'm alive, as long as we can authenticate the person has passed, with a vital statistics death certificate, each province has that, then we would release basically a key to the people that are a part of your team. And if if you have access while you're alive, after someone's passed away, basically ReadyWhen goes into ready mode, which locks the system in that it's only a view only state. So, it all depends on the user and how they want to allow somebody to access their information. So you control those permissions.
Okay, so a user would be a will maker or a testator, somebody who's trying to get their estate documentation in order, and they get to use now your digital platform. So then they would upload the documents that they want to upload. They would upload information they want to upload. And then you're using the project terminology, which is fantastic, about the fact that really the testator is now building a team around them that will execute after they have passed away. And one of the key players in that team, as we all know, is the executor or fiduciary, depending on name, depends on the province. And you may even want to put names like the lawyer that you deal with, or the tax advisor, or the fact there's an insurance policy. And so what you're saying is that based on permissions, people can see information after a trigger like a death or incapacity situation. And then that way it allows the executor not to look for that paper box or look in the mailbox, but they can have this information available to them. So that makes sense from an estate planning to a transition to estate administration perspective. Now, does your tool also help an executor who starts from scratch? Say nobody has set up a ReadyWhen profile and the executor needs to execute on their project. How can they use your tool for that?
I would suggest that, yeah, it's tough because, Sharon, because that's when you're going on that scavenger hunt, right? I mean, we will definitely have guidance, after someone's passed away. So, they understand, what is probate, how to get to probate, how to consolidate that information. Basically your ReadyWhen account is passed over to your lawyer and your accountant so that they can actually assist it and facilitate the probate process. But yeah, our tool, there is some tools out there that are after someone's passed away to consolidate all that information, where ReadyWhen is the information. So we're able to supply all that asset information, the legal documents, and actually having those contacts in ReadyWhen, your most important contacts, your lawyer, your accountant, your financial planner, and so forth.
Right.
And
well,
a big part,
go ahead, Sachin.
And a big part of what ReadyWhen is, and Sharon, earlier on, you mentioned, how are we going to consumers with this? And a big part of our messaging will be around proactive planning. And it's this idea that we keep pushing very important things off the plate. And I find this sort of confusing when people are so willing to pay for insurance because of a what if. And with what we're talking about here, it's going to happen. It's a certainty. And scarier, you have no idea when it's going to happen. So why wouldn't you want to be as prepared as possible for it? So we're using the term proactive planning. It's going to be in our messaging. The other thing that we've done to help the executor, as you mentioned, is we do have a resource library on ReadyWhen.ca.
Okay.
And if someone hasn't built their ReadyWhen account and an executor is just trying to educate themselves, we have tools to help them do that. The other thing, and this does require someone to be have a ReadyWhen account, assign an executor to the account, but we are creating something called Ready Mode. So Ready Mode, when someone does pass away, and they have assigned a team member and they have assigned an executor, they will be literally given a checklist of what to do as an executor and as a family member. So our goal is ReadyWhen is full life planning and proactive, and then also for the family to actually plan when something does happen and help them, guide them through that rough time as well.
Yeah, I think this is a global estate industry challenge. We have to shift the mentality that it's okay just to have planning documents done. And certainly any estate practitioner would have long been affirming to clients, make sure you talk to the executor, make sure you leave some information behind. But I think we're now going to see a time where we are going to lose assets. The statistics I always throw out in my speeches around, we're losing our physical assets, such as if you look at the Bank of Canada Lost Bank Registry, it's going up. People move and lose track of bank accounts. So now in the digital age, when we're all online, and certainly during the pandemic, we've been forced to do a lot more things online. There's a lot more opportunity to lose assets. And so this is a conversation we're going to have with the financial sector as they do wealth management planning and financial planning, and change the generational conversation. To enable that, we have now these digital platforms such as yourselves. Now, I find it sometimes helpful for folks to understand what it's like. So you use the analogy of we now have a digital estate binder, to speak. Would you say it was fair to characterize your solution as it's a platform, but it also is about a team, but it's a online estate binder with team members, with permissions, with workflow? Like, what's it like that people may have experienced before?
Yeah, I think we definitely have elements, right? Like at the crux of it, Jesse said this earlier, you need to have certain things in order to complete your estate plan. And with Jesse's subject matter expertise, we have that. We have everything you need. So if you need to talk about, if you don't know what to do, we help you guide you through that. But where I feel we're differing, and Jess, please chime in as well, is I feel we have this idea of efficiency. The reason that no one wants to do the estate planning is, one, it's a scary subject, but more importantly, it's daunting. It's how do you do this? So we're making it frictionless, as Jesse said. So the goal is to make it faster. We want to make it much more easier, and we really want to make it more proactive. So estate binder, you know, it's not shareable. I mean, you know where it is, but it's like you got to find it, and not everything's in there. So if you follow the rules that we put in, we're going to really help families save time, cost, and confusion. And as laws begin to adapt, we're going to actually be there on the cutting edge to make things easier. Our goal is actually to help people get to probate within months versus a year plus what it takes.
Oh, that would be tremendous. I mean, I'm sure there's studies in terms of how long executors spend on each of the phases of their job, finding things, cataloging things, and certainly automating a paper binder is fantastic, because if you have an insurance policy, for example, you're going to know and be able to put in triggers that say when it's coming to due and when it needs to be changed, or when you need to look at the life cycle of these documents in the future. Now, we know it's challenging to get people to talk about will and estate planning. As you know, Richard does a tremendous job hosting these conversations around the digital topic, because it's sometimes easier to talk about technology than it is about funeral arrangements. But in your opinion, from what you've seen so far, what do we need to do to get people engaged in thinking about this? Is it just too much? They don't know what they don't know, or is there a way to convince people that, in addition to getting a will and estate planning and getting advice around that they should be looking at solutions like yours?
Yeah, and I think that's exactly it, Sharon. They don't know what to do and where to start and so forth. And that's why, utilizing the professional to educate them on the importance of a ReadyWhen account, right? And they really got to understand, and Sachin did refer to it, it's about life planning. It's real-time life planning, right? Like, you don't have to think about, Richard, that morbid thought about, okay, about death. It's about, it's really life planning in real time, where you can, always update your information and share it with your spouse or your partner, so that, and where everything is. Unfortunately, as much as I want to admit to this, I had a statement come through a small investment, but it only comes once a year. So I'd totally forgotten about it. And then, at the beginning of the year, I got this statement. I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot that I had this small investment over here. So that's where I put it in ReadyWhen. So depending on, when you passed away in the year, you passed away in the beginning part of the year, you're actually not going to get that statement until next year. You get a mortgage statement once a year. So, it's really educating the user about, like you talk about everyone's digitalizing so many aspects of their life. So why wouldn't you want to digitalize the centralization of all that information? And that's what ReadyWhen's all about. So hopefully that kind of, encourages individuals to get a ReadyWhen account, or, making sure that information is in central location.
No, that's terrific. And I think if what would be great for the audience to hear now is, where can they get a demo of your solution? Or which social media accounts can they follow you on? Where can they reach out and contact you to learn more?
Perfect. Yeah, ReadyWhen.ca. Pretty easy. So ReadyWhen.ca is our website. We are on the major ones, so Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and you can contact myself, Jesse, Jessie, at ReadyWhen.ca. You also have Sachin, SACHIN, at ReadyWhen.ca. You have our website, and there's contact information there. Just contact us. We'd love to set up a demo for anybody. And like we said, we do have a support system. You can contact us for customer support. We have a one-on-one concierge service. So if you actually came into the product and wanted assistance on onboarding and getting your account all set up, we're here to support you. And that comes back to that whole guidance, right? We know what people, in this, having difficulties, talking about it and creating that estate management, but we're here to assist you, right? It's all about guidance and making sure that people get that information. Like, for us, success is not just having a ReadyWhen account. Success for us is actually having an individual inputting the information and having an active user within ReadyWhen.
One of the things you mentioned earlier on was users, right? So we're starting to see users come on, and we have this great person actually reach out to us. So she has a husband, she has 2 kids, they're here in Toronto, but their whole family's in Israel. She has no family here. And she felt with providing her with a ReadyWhen account, she was able to create an entire life plan for her family and share it with her family in an entire different country. And that just made her feel like at peace of mind. It gave her reassurance. Her family over there felt a little bit better too, because they knew where everything was. And now she's not worried. And she's actually gone through the process. And mind you, they haven't completed the ReadyWhen estate plan, but that's fine. The whole idea is to start. And that's all we want people to do. And she took the biggest first step. So we're really excited about hearing user stories like that, where they actually seeing the product, they're valuing the product, but more importantly, they're using the product.
That's terrific. So we know where to find you guys, and I've added you to the hashtag Estate Tech list on Twitter, because I'm following new tech entrepreneurs, digital assets, and topics in this space. So thank you so much for sharing everything about ReadyWhen today. And always thank you to Richard for hosting this session with us. And I'll turn it back over to Richard.
Great, thanks, Sharon. And thank you, Jesse and Sachin, for all of this information. It's interesting when I'm listening to what you're talking about. It's really, I have to put it into context for folks when I'm talking, because it's unheard of generally for funeral directors to be pre-planning with folks and to say, have you got your digital assets in place? Have you got, all these other things? We kind of focus on what we're doing, and that's about all. But for me, it's value added. And if I can talk to somebody across the table that's in their 60s and 70s and say, this is a good solution. Maybe you might need one of your kids or grandkids or somebody to kind of navigate a little wee bit for you. But this is something that you will understand. And it's a digital file cabinet. And, that's what this is really all about. And that peace of mind. I know a lot of times folks are just, thank goodness that this is done. We don't have to worry about this anymore. And I think you're on the right track with ReadyWhen, and I wish you all the luck and with everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Really appreciate it.
So Sharon, thank you again for hosting from sunny British Columbia.
Sunny Vancouver. It's always beautiful in Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Richard. Look forward to next time.
Well, thank you. And, and to everybody who's followed and listened to this this interview today, we thank you for your support and participation. Always questions are encouraged. And just so that you're aware, Sharon and I have been working in the community, in other communities, providing client webinars on digital topics. So if you are a community group or an association, reach out to me. And if you'd like to host a digital event for your own community members or clients or your association or society, reach out and we can certainly put some stuff together for you to benefit your membership. So with that, I will wrap up, and just to say thank you very much. Keep safe and smiling. This is Richard Rosen, Winnipeg's friendliest undertaker, signing off.